Hello and welcome to True Crime with Tori Lee. Today is a case I wish I wasn't covering. It's one of those cases that is just awful to hear and just makes me wild. For all the true crime lovers, I am sure you're all familiar with the Chris Watts and the horrendous crimes he committed. Well, today's case is the Australian Chris Watts, who is known today as the Mornington Monster. This is probably the most upsetting, heartbreaking, and emotional roller coaster ride, the most brutal I have covered to date. The anger I feel, the heartache for the families involved, and the ultimate betrayal. 3 beautiful lives taken by the man who was supposed to love and protect them, slaughtering and dismembering their bodies in the most horrifying and chilling case. So buckle up for this heartbreaking story. This is the story of Anna, Gracie, and Francis Kemp. Anna Marie Kemp was born and raised in New Zealand. In her adult life, she decided to move to Melbourne. Anna was a devoted Catholic, so marriage and family were extremely important to her. She landed a job as a bank teller at Commonwealth Bank. This is where Anna, who was 31 at the time, met John Sharp, who was 27 at the time. John was shy and socially awkward. He was a part of a big family. He was unhappy at school and didn't have a lot of friends. It also took John a bit to open up to people. Anna and John started dating and quickly became engaged. Anna's family in New Zealand felt that because Anna was 31, she may have been rushing into marriage. But on October 30th in 1994, the pair wed and had a small wedding of around 40 guests. Anna's family were not very fond of her new husband. When John and Anna returned from their honeymoon, Anna expressed to her family that she may have made a mistake as there was very little love and passion. Despite her feelings, she was determined to make her marriage work. Over the next 6 years, Anna and John bought houses, renovated them, then sold them and made money. In late 2001, 7 years after marriage, Anna announced she was expecting their first child. Anna was over the moon, however, John did not feel the same. See, children were not part of John's plan. Despite this, they welcomed a baby girl and called her Gracie. Gracie has been described as a quiet toddler who loved lollies and visiting the park. Gracie was born with hip dysplasia. She had to wear a harness for the first 3 months of her life to help with the correction of her hips. Anna was there for Gracie every second she could be, showing up 100%. Gracie was often distressed. She would cry often and had trouble sleeping due to her being uncomfortable from the harness. This put a strain on Anna and John's relationship and marriage. John was no longer receiving all of Anna's attention. This caused John to become frustrated and jealous. Anna decided to quit her job at the bank and become a full-time stay-at-home mum to Gracie. John also quit his job at the bank and opened his own business as a conveyancer. In late 2003, Anna and John purchased a family home at 116 Prince Street in Mornington. Anna announced the couple were expecting their second child. This time, they were expecting a little boy, and Anna decided to call him Francis. Anna was so happy that Gracie would be having a sibling. She always wanted one child of each sex, and she was thrilled she would be a mother to another child. However, John was less than impressed. He was yet again surprised about their second pregnancy. He didn't want any more children, as Gracie was already a burden. John began to neglect his wife and unborn son Francis. He started to become very hostile and started to become easily irritated. In early 2004, Anna, John and Gracie attended a family event. Those who attended stated the couple appeared to be normal, but only 2 days later, Anna disappeared. On the 23rd of March 2004, these were Anna's last known movements and communication. Anna dropped Gracie off to kindy. She phoned her mother Lily in New Zealand and had a phone conversation with her. She then phoned her friend Samantha and organised to meet with her later on in the week. Anna then returned to the kindy around 12 p.m, picked up Gracie and returned home. Later that evening around 2 p.m, Anna phoned her healthcare provider and added their unborn son Francis to their policy. But for 2 days after this, no one could get a hold of Anna. John called Dawn and Samantha, who were Anna's best friends. John told them that Anna had left him for another man and left Gracie with him. John said they could call her on her mobile and speak to her that way. Samantha and Dawn thought this was so out of character. Firstly, the fact that John was phoning them, because this had never happened before. Secondly, because Anna would never leave without Gracie, and they knew Gracie was not close with John. And thirdly, because they found it hard to believe that Anna would just leave John and go be with another man, as this was against her Catholic religion. This raised an unsettling feeling with her friends, Samantha and Dawn. They attempted to contact her, however could not reach her on her mobile. The couple were not a happy couple. On the outside, they had a long-term marriage, a beautiful daughter and a son on the way. But behind closed doors, John made it very clear he was not impressed or interested in the arrival of the second child, Francis. Anna had recently threatened John and stated if he didn't change his attitude towards the pregnancy, that she would be leaving. On the 24th of May 2004, a day after Anna's last known movements, a television service tradesman arrived at the residence, which was prearranged by Anna. This surprised John, as he wasn't expecting anyone. John refused him entrance to the property and stated that the television was all fixed and there were no longer any issues. A few days later, John collected Gracie from kindy and advised the kindy that Anna had left him for another man and that Gracie would not be returning to kindy. John rang Lily, Anna's mum, and let her know that Anna collected Gracie from the residence and left in a taxi and headed to her new home in Chelsea with her new partner. John also stated Anna was not pregnant with his baby. It was in fact Anna's new partner. After a week of Anna's disappearance, family members received an email from Anna outlining her marriage breakdown with John. Anna asked to be left alone and given some privacy to settle into her new life with her new partner. But this email only furthered suspicion. Anna's family didn't understand why she wouldn't text or call. Anna's mum, Lily, tried calling Anna but was not able to reach her. Lily could not believe what she heard from John because her daughter was such a devoted Catholic, a respected mother, and Anna was so devoted to making her marriage with John work. Lily decided to go straight to the New Zealand police and she reported her daughter Anna missing. New Zealand officers got in contact with the Victorian Missing Persons Unit in Australia. The officers began looking into this and found there was no records of a taxi picking up Anna from 116 Prince Street in Mornington. This became concerning to the police officers. Anna was a committed wife, a respectful mother, and was pregnant with a second child. Victorian police headed to the Mornington area where they interviewed John Sharp. Officers took a detailed statement. During this interview, John stated he didn't really care where Anna was and that she had taken off with another man. He then said that his only concern was he just wanted to know if Gracie was alive and safe and where she was. He told the officers Anna left and a few days later came back to the residence and picked Gracie up and left in a silver car. John appeared emotionless. Police issued a search warrant to have a look around the family home. They noticed there was no mattress on the bed, and when asked about this, John's response was, it brought back too many memories and he had to get a new one. They then go into Gracie's room and realise there is no cot in the room. So when police asked John where the cot was, his response was, he gave it to Anna for her new place so Gracie had somewhere to sleep. Police thought it was fair enough responses, but were still not fully convinced. The police continued with the investigation. They noticed Anna's phone and bank card had activity on it. In early May of 2004, Anna's mum Lily received an email from Anna. She also received a card and some flowers for Mother's Day and her birthday. The writing on the card did not look like Anna's writing, nor did the email sound like it was written by Anna. So, Lily, yet again, went and reported this to the New Zealand police, who again got in touch and relayed the information to the Victorian Missing Persons Police Unit. They confirmed that Anna's bank card showed the activity of Anna purchasing the card and flowers for Lily. However, with this information, police were still not convinced and decided to place her husband, John, under police surveillance. Undercover detectives recorded his movements and photographed him. John decided to go to Mount Martha Beach, and during this trip, he went to a bush right near a public toilet block. He pulls out a blue plastic bag, and from this blue plastic bag, he pulls out a phone. He makes a phone call on this phone and puts the phone back in the plastic bag. He then pulls out a bank card and heads to the nearest ATM in Chelsea, where he withdraws $200 cash. He then heads back to the bush, puts the $200 cash and bank card back into the blue plastic bag, and puts the bag back into the bush. This was all recorded by undercover police who had video evidence of this. Once John left, police walked over to the bush and retrieved the blue plastic bag and found a mobile phone, Anna's bank card, and even Anna's license. John returned to his home and called the police, stating Anna just called him and she also just withdrew $200 from an ATM in Chelsea. Boom, John, you're caught. Police are like, got you. However, they don't arrest him straight away in case he leads police to more evidence. Police were also still trying to find out John's motive for Anna's murder. They kept bringing him into the police station for more questioning through the end of May and start of June in relation to the phone call and the ATM withdrawal. However, John kept sticking to his original story in his detailed statement. On the 22nd of June, police arrested him and officially interviewed him for the disappearance and murder of his wife Anna and daughter Gracie. During this interview, John yet again stuck to his original story. By this point, the police were done with going in circles with John. Police were aware that John was close with his family. They were very loving and supportive. John was living with them throughout this time of his missing wife and daughter, and he was very reliant on his parents. So, the police decided to bring in his family. Detectives told John's family they have evidence and reason to believe that John is involved in the disappearance and possible murders of Anna, Gracie, and their unborn child Francis. Police showed John's family the video evidence of him making a phone call and withdrawing $200 cash from an ATM in Chelsea. Police pointed out his inconsistencies in his stories, telling Anna's family she left with Gracie in a taxi, but later telling police Anna left in a silver car with Gracie, and revealing that John purchased a new mattress 2 weeks after Anna's disappearance, and that Gracie's cot was missing. John's family go in to talk to him, and when they come out, they tell the detectives that John would like to talk to them. When the detectives entered the room, John confesses everything and tells the detectives how he murdered his wife, daughter, and unborn son. John starts with Anna. On the 21st of March 2004, John and Anna had an argument. They headed to bed between 9 and 10 p.m. Anna quickly fell asleep while John was lying awake and stewing on their argument. John walked downstairs, went to the garage, and went back upstairs with his spear gun in his hand. He placed the spear gun on Anna's temple and pulled the trigger. However, that did not kill her, so he fired a second shot which killed Anna. He covered Anna's body in towels before going downstairs and slept on the lounge for the remainder of the night. When he woke up, he dropped Gracie at daycare, and that is when the television tradesman rocked up, and Anna was still lying in the bed upstairs, deceased, which is why John quickly got rid of him. John then attempted and failed to remove the spears from Anna's head. John was only able to remove the shafts. John then removed Anna's body from the bedroom, dug a shallow grave in the backyard, and buried his pregnant wife. John then phoned his mother-in-law and told her that the marriage was over and that she was having an affair with another man. Because Lily didn't believe this and didn't understand why she would leave Gracie, this is when John stated Anna was picking Gracie up in a few days. So on the Friday, the 27th of March 2004, John dropped Gracie to daycare, and when he collected her, he advised them that Gracie would not be returning, as Anna had left him for another man. Gracie was put to bed that night in her cot at 9 p.m. John drank some whiskey and coke to apparently numb his senses. Gracie was peacefully sleeping, and he fired the spear gun at her temple, the same way he brutally murdered her mother. However, this did not kill her. She instead screamed in agony. John went downstairs, grabbed more spears, and fired a further 2 more spears into Gracie's head, and she still fought and clung on to life. So then he grabbed a spear out of her head and pulled the trigger again for the 4th time, which was the shot that would end Gracie's life. It was also later revealed that he took Gracie with him to the sports shop to purchase the spears he would later use to end her life. John then slept on the lounge that night. When he woke in the morning, he covered Gracie in towels and put her tiny body in a rubbish bag with the spears and spear gun, and he then disposed of her body and evidence in the bin. John then visited a hardware store and brought a chainsaw and duct tape with cash. He then went home, dug up Anna's body, dismembered her into 3 pieces, put her body parts in rubbish bags, and then disposed of her body in the trash. After this confession, the police still did not understand the motive. When the detectives asked John why he killed Anna, John stated he was unhappy and his wife was moody and controlling. When the detectives asked John why he killed Gracie, John stated he was thinking about taking care of Gracie himself, but he stated the child belongs with her mother. John created a lie and had to kill Gracie in the process to continue the lie, because he didn't want to take responsibility for his actions. Detectives found blood in the residence belonging to Anna and Gracie. Police were determined to find Anna, Gracie, and Francis, so they began to search the landfill. The tip gave the detectives a 250 square metre area based on the dates they believed Anna, Gracie and Francis were dumped by John, and were able to narrow it down to search just this space. Detectives and volunteers, even police officers, searched during their days off. Everyone had to use protective gear that participated due to the asbestos on site. Everyone who participated started to feel deflated and like they weren't going to find them, as they wanted to succeed and give closure to Anna's family. However, after 19 days of endlessly searching, they found Gracie and carried her out of the landfill with the respect she deserved. And in late July, they recovered all of Anna and Francis. A vigil was held for them in Mornington, and then they were flown back to New Zealand, where a funeral was held, and they were all buried together. Gracie's father on the birth certificate was changed to unknown, and Anna, Gracie and Francis were all buried under Anna's maiden name, Kemp. John made a television appearance to the public for assistance or information for his missing wife, Anna, and daughter, Gracie. His behaviour during the appeal attracted lack of tears, story inconsistencies, and strange body language. John pleaded with anyone who knew of their whereabouts to come forward. His referrals of them were in the past tense.
Be over, but I still love you. You are the mother of our beautiful daughter, Gracie, whom we both adore more than anyone else.
He would later tell investigators he killed his wife because she was controlling and moody. He was thinking of taking care of Gracie alone. John did not show any emotion when he pleaded guilty. On the 5th of August 2005, the court sentenced John to 2 consecutive life sentences for the murder of Anna and her 20-month-old baby Gracie, with a 33-year non-parole period. John was not convicted for the murder of their unborn son, Francis. John is nothing but a heartless killer, violently killing his entire family, cutting them up and then throwing them away like trash, treating them like they meant nothing. John received the lightest punishment for the most horrendous crimes. Even in death, John made Anna look bad and played the victim. John resides in protective custody to this day, behind bars, due to the threats to his life from fellow prisoners. He is eligible to apply for parole in 2037. That is all I have time for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have made it this far, I just want to express my gratitude for following yet another episode of True Crime with Tori Lee. It would be appreciated if you could share with friends and family, give this episode a like, leave a comment below, or even subscribe. I will see you all next week with a brand new episode. Until then, stay vigilant. Bye.